All right, Coach Sergent, another weekend in the books for the Gamecocks up in New York City, and the Armory was kind to you guys, especially the throwers. Already talked about it a little bit with Josh, but of course he set an indoor personal best. I think it's the third best mark in the country right now in the shot put. You got a season best at Eric Favors. You had mini season best from the women's squad as well. New York was a good weekend for you guys.
It was. You know, Josh and I talked about like his 65-foot throw, and one of the cool things about that is we weren't necessarily expecting it, just based on how practice was going. I mean, things were going fine, but when you get a performance like that, I'm never surprised by anything that Josh does, but with him pulling that out based off of our training and not peaking and all the other things that we do in track and field, it was really a great sign of like, oh, there's more there too. So, you know, with having more than a month left of the season indoors, we're expecting more.
Do you kind of have to maybe scale back the training or readjust the training when something like that happens unexpectedly, or do you just take it as a blessing and continue on the course that you're on?
Yeah, a little bit of both, I guess, but we don't, I mean, the plan is kind of set in place, and of course we adjust things weekly when we need to, but right now that was just a good indicator of where we're at, and you know, nothing really to change outside of it just makes Josh a little bit more comfortable with that nationals list. You know, Katie's another one. We've had 3 meets, and each week she's upped her mark. So that's always a great sign. So right now, hey, things keep going in the right direction, and that means that the plan is working.
You mentioned KD, and she and Eric Favors both are kind of on the periphery of being in NCAA contention in the shot put. I think KD's in the high 30s, and Eric is right around 40, 45 or so. So both of them are really just, you know, one big PR away from being right back in contention for one of those 16 spots at College Station, knowing that you've got about 4 weeks left to work with them before the qualifying marks are set. What sort of things are you trying with those two student athletes to hopefully get them to peak over these next 4 weeks and maybe get into contention for an NCAA spot?
Well, for Eric, it's all about just his technique and timing continuing to come together. Last year at the SEC Championship, he went in and threw 18.45, which was 60 feet and change, and actually had the farthest throw in the country for any freshman. Had a rough outdoor, and that was all technique related. It's nothing to do with the kind of athlete he is, because he's a great athlete. And we had a great fall this year with in terms of preparation. He's bigger and stronger, and you know, all the strength and conditioning stuff is on point. And kind of what we've been doing again with each week here is just building, and getting his confidence going and getting a little better each week. So it's a matter of being patient right now, and trusting what's going on, and trusting and having the confidence, but that's happening. He's building that confidence. You know, for KD, she's a little bit in a different boat, because with her being a freshman here, a true freshman, you know, she's also dealing with the transitions of new coach, new school, being away from home. But you know, she's got a great personality in the sense she adapts pretty well, and so far what I've seen from her is that I'm expecting her to continue to improve. You know, it's different for her too. With coming from high school, she was the #2 high school thrower in the country as a shot putter, and you know, coming into the SEC and the NCAA, it's another level. You know, this is a new experience for her, competing against people that, you know, going from being #2 and no one ever beating you other than the national champion to, you know, this weekend she had a PR, indoor PR, but she was 4th. You know, so, but she's doing a great job of adapting to that. And, you know, again, same thing, we're working on technique and continuing to improve.
Liberty this weekend for you guys. I know a couple folks are off, but you're taking a pretty big crew up there. And anytime you compete, I know you've got a checklist of things that you want to accomplish before the meet is over. So when you guys head up to Liberty this week to compete at the Darius Dixon Memorial Invitational, what sort of goals are you hoping to check off before you get back to Columbia?
Right. So for pretty much everybody, it's still, because everyone is young. Josh has the weekend off. He's the seasoned veteran. He doesn't really need to compete every weekend. And you know, for someone that maybe is not a shot putter, it might be kind of hard to recognize just how much force and how much you beat up your body throwing a cannonball almost 70 feet. It's a lot of impact. There's actually concussion, so to speak, on your body that comes from blasting that shot. So giving him a weekend off and being where we're at is really good for him because it sets him up better for NCAAs. You know, the younger people, you know, they need that time. They need the development. They need the reps. And so, you know, we're just looking for consistency as the big thing and another opportunity to compete. And with having a young group, you know, the girls are all freshmen and sophomores. And so them just having more competitions, that's what it's all about.
Should be another good weekend for the Gamecocks, not just on the thrower side, but overall. And of course, Coach Sergent, always fun to stop by and chat for a minute. Best of luck up at Liberty, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you very much.